Hello, good afternoon. I can say good afternoon now, it's 3 minutes past 12. I really liked Richard's presentation, the bit at the end when he said, and forgive me if I get this quote wrong, something about digital mindset requires a cultural shift. I used to work at Argos, you've heard a bit about them today, and then I went to move and work for a couple of years at Amazon, and if you think about digital mindsets and cultural shifts, turning up at Wickes is quite a big shift in itself. So it's not an obvious career path, so then go and start to work for a supplier of building materials and DIY products. Generally speaking, not at the forefront of innovation when it comes to customer delivery. Hands up, who's heard of Wickes? Okay, not bad, about half, which means I can rattle through the next bit really quickly. We're a member of the Travis Perkins Group. The Travis Perkins Group has got somewhere in the region of 20, 21 different brands. Wickes is part of the consumer division. We work with other companies like Tile Giant and Tool Station. All right, that's us. It's a big group. Wickes is a big part of that big group. We're not that old, actually. Started in 1972. 240 stores across the UK. I think that's 241 tomorrow and 242 the day after. We're one of the few retailers out there laying down some space, which is great news. It's a relatively small range, so we're lucky in that we only work with 10,000 SKUs. I used to work with 10,000 SKUs on screwdrivers, it felt like. So 10,000 SKUs in the whole store is good news. And we've got a really diverse customer base, actually. So we have lots of tradesmen come into our stores and use us as their convenient top-up destination for all of their goods. We've got a big DIY base, people like you and me, or more like you than me because I can't do any of it. And also lots of consumers who come in and buy kitchens and bathrooms. So the store is a bit of a myriad of different consumers trying to do different things, and we have to try and design our supply chain and delivery network to cope with all of those. But I think we are pretty much a true multi-channel business. We even still have people on the end of telephones taking quite a lot of business for us as well. So we are using all of those channels. And why? Well, I joke with the guy that runs our website, it's because his website isn't good enough. But actually, it's because some of the things our customers are doing are really quite complex, and they need someone on the other end of a telephone to say, do I need widget A or do I need widget B? So fairly multi-channel. Because of that, our delivery requirements are pretty diverse. So we have to deliver everything from that bag of sand over there weighs a ton. I haven't yet found the DPD carrier that will do that for me. A tin of paint. Not too many carrier networks like moving tins of paint around expensive automation equipment. Little bits of clip hooks, ladders, they're not that easy to transport, plugs, or even 150 parts to a kitchen all arriving at the same time, hopefully. So our delivery requirements are pretty diverse. And we've been pretty good, actually. So luckily, we've been quite good. We've been certainly at the front of our sector. So just bear in mind, the front of our sector isn't a huge achievement. But we have at least been at the front of it. So we have click and collect available in an hour. So that's pretty good, right? Click and collect available in an hour, not bad. Our nearest and dearest competitors, the guys in orange, currently, that's next day. Now it will be much, much better than that as we go through the summer because the sector is playing catch-up. We do a day of choice delivery, so any of our consumers can go online and choose a nominated day of choice in the future. And actually, one of the good things that we have, some of the crown jewels, is we will deliver all of that stuff. So our whole range is available for delivery, from ton bags of sand to very small widgets. So we've been all right, actually. So you could say that why bother innovating with what you've currently got to do better? And the unfortunate truth is because all of those consumers I talked about aren't being trained by people that do building materials. They're being trained by people like these about what good looks like. So, Amazon's relentless delivery achievement. That's why I'm grey. Relentless delivery achievement. You heard about Argos already this morning. Bertrand talking about same day at a ridiculously low price. They've been trained that that's an acceptable way to do stuff. Interestingly, even carriers are starting to train people. Dwayne and DPD guys doing a great job around some of their precise type technology. It's starting to train our consumers about what good looks like in this sector. Ocado, narrower and narrower time slots, and a really good competitor of ours, Screwfix, with fantastic use of different apps. So it would be dead easy if we just thought we had to just service our consumers in our shops. We probably wouldn't do anything. But unfortunately, our customers are being trained by these guys. And actually, whilst we could solve for most of those big customer requirements, which are not that difficult in our sector, I can't get it in my car is the big one. You try and turn up and buy 7 or 8 doors. It's quite hard to get that in the back of a Ford Focus. I need it tomorrow when the job starts. The tradesman has just told me he's coming around to start the job tomorrow, so I need it tomorrow. We could solve for that as well. Or even I want to pick it up when I'm out and about shopping. We could do all of those things. But increasingly, for consumers, speed and precision is the new norm, and we couldn't do that well. And I used to face a bit of internal pushback here when we would talk about, well, it's not that, speed and precision, yeah, great, Dunk, I get it, but not in this sector, not in building materials. But actually, I really firmly believe that if you build it, first building reference, Jack. All right. If you build it, they will come, right? They will come. So click and collect. So what a waste of time that would be in this sector. It's our fastest growing channel by a significant distance. Consumers are trained by other people that click and collect is a good thing, so you better do it in your business. So we're doing that and it's going well. But if we want to be really good at speed and precision, we've got to be near to our customers, which is why laying down that new space that I talked about earlier is so important to us. And actually, we've got some really slow-moving products. You'd be surprised how slow-moving some of our products are. We've got to have those, therefore, if we want to be quick and we want to be precise, they've got to be near to our customers. So we're going to have to use our existing inventories that we've already got and paid for to do more than one thing and to serve more than one fulfillment channel. And if we do that, it'll be fairly hard to replicate. So hopefully you're getting the picture. Actually, we're pretty good at what we do versus everyone else in the sector, but everyone else is moving much quicker, and we're on this travelator that if we stand still, we're going to go shooting off the back end. It sounds relatively easy to do that speed and precision thing I just talked about, but you need some, if you're in retail, the retailers in the room will know that you need some big fundamentals in place. Second building reference. All of these building blocks need to be in place, right? You need to have nationwide coverage. And I said, we are doing a much better job of getting there. It's somewhere in the region of about 280, 290, we think, is full nationwide coverage. And we'll be somewhere around that number in the next year and a half. Defined ranges. If you want to be able to offer consistent ranges near to people, it would be really useful if the ranges were quite similar from store to store. Because if a consumer is trying to order something and they live in Inverness and the range is completely different in the Inverness store than it is in Bognor Regis, that's going to become a bit of a problem for you. So again, trying to have those well-defined ranges, it's a bit easier than, a bit harder than it sounds, is very, very important. Accurate inventory, the holy grail of retailers. We're really lucky, actually. One of the good things about being really late to the multi-channel party, which Wickes was, is we only put in a store-managed replenishment system about 4 or 5 years ago. So our stores still have that mentality of making sure their planograms are up to date and they're able to count in the right way, and how important having an accurate inventory is for them. So that's really useful for us. And I think the biggest one, which is often overlooked, is that about capability. So our store teams need to have that digital mindset as a cultural shift that Richard talked about, is so important. So we've worked really, really hard with our store teams to make them feel as if they're not just running a shop, they're running a multi-channel fulfillment centre. Their customers that wander in and pick up the click and collect in an hour are still their consumers every bit as much as the white van man who comes every morning and buys his van load of products. So we've done lots around making sure they're incentivised properly in stores for multi-channel sales, making sure they're credited. However that sale arrives in their shop, it's really important that these people feel engaged in the whole multi-channel journey. Now that's not easy, but it is really, really important. So this is where I think it can get interesting. If you just concentrate on the top part of the slide, so if you put together those big building blocks of the nationwide coverage and the defined ranges, having really accurate inventory, and your people care, and your people really care, then it's dead easy to do click and collect in an hour. The guy's in store, he receives a click and collect order on a piece of IT kit. You've designed it so he's got a big egg timer flashing away to give him a bit of urgency. And that egg timer's dropping down and he knows he's got an hour to have that ready for when the customer comes in. I think the relatively innovative bit we've done when looking across our estate is saying we've got all that already. Is there anything else we can do that doesn't require any extra process or any extra effort in the store that's going to open up a world of new offers for our customers? So all we did, and this is did and doing, it's still relatively early days for us, is we've added in a third-party carrier, so on the dot, which I think is being talked about next there, and the guys are downstairs, feel free to have a conversation with them. We've added in on the dot to do the final mile for us. So very simply, in that click and collect world, as a consumer, you go up into one of our shops and say, I've come to pick up my widget, please. The store will have that ready for you. Instead of the consumer coming in to do that, an on-the-dot courier comes in and picks that up for the customer and then goes and delivers it. And they go and deliver it same day or a nominated hour of the customer's choice. So the secret sauce bit is no more store complexity. To the store, it looks like exactly the same process. If I go into a shop and ask them how many click and collect orders they've had today, they probably would be able to tell me. If I asked them how many on-the-dot 1 hour deliveries they've had today, it would be all consumed in that same first number. To them, this is friction-free, but to the consumers, it's a world of new fulfillment choice. So that gives us real sector leadership in this world now, because we now have 1 hour nominated time slots on the same day or the day of your choice. This is sleepy old building materials we're talking about. And we can do that for 70% of our SKU base. So 10,000 SKUs, 7,000 of them are available today, order now, available at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, depending on where you live, in a 1 hour precise time window. And it's not just for widgets, right? We can do this for large stuff too. So anything up to a metre cube, a bit more than a metre cube as well, for that gets delivered. And again, as I said before, one process driving more than one fulfillment option. If you take the time to look at what you've currently got, rather than thinking about how do I implement drones, you can actually start to think about utilising your existing assets to innovate on behalf of customers. So we started this just before Christmas, 7 or 8 weeks before Christmas. We are building steadily as consumers start to get to know about it. We'll start to go above the line in some of our advertising for this, working with the guys from On The Dot who've done a fantastic job of implementation with us. But people said it's all very well again, but people aren't going to pay for this, are they? So remember we heard the guy from Accenture talk about how free and fast is where the world's going. Well, actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I think people are prepared to pay. So some examples. These are true, believe it or not. So on the far left-hand side, there's a piece of insulation tape. That's 99 pence worth of product. One of our consumers paid £9.95 same-day delivery in a 1 hour time slot for a 99 pence piece of insulation tape. Right, if you build it, they will come. There are people out there that will do this. But if you've got your finger in a leak, you don't want to go to the shop. So that's one example. The next one I think is quite interesting as well. A £1.59 plug. Why is it any different to the one before? Well, the guy that ordered that lives less than 1.5 kilometres away from the shop that it came from. So for £1.59, paid £9.95 delivery for that product, less than 1.5 kilometres away. But it's easy for us to sit there and make a judgment on that fella, isn't it? You know, he's bound to be sat there in his lazy boy armchair with his Call of Duty game on. But we don't know. It could be a guy with mobility issues, couldn't it? You know, it's all about just opening up this to new consumers. And the last one, which you can't see, which I'm delighted about, is an order for £2,000. So we do have some big orders as well, £2,000. All those things on there are large packs of tiles and everything associated with doing a large tiling project. And he ordered that for 4 days hence. So it's not just about speed, but that precision. That 1 hour delivery slot was going to be really important to him. His tradesman is going to turn up the hour before that, undo that in the hour, and get the job done for him. Time is money, right? And as soon as consumers start to do the equation and work out how much their own time is worth, £9.95 fades away very, very quickly, particularly on big jobs like that. So, it would be great if we could sustain charging £9.95 for that. I suspect over time that's probably likely to be eroded away a bit, but at the moment, the price and the relative value for that convenience and that speed, that time and that precision is comfortably eaten into that money by the consumers. Right? The consumers are willing to pay for this stuff. So, people won't pay for the same day, will they? Yeah, they do, actually, which is really useful. So just to conclude, we're now starting to think really broadly about using our existing assets. What have we currently got in our business? Where do we have strength? Where are our internal processes really fit for purpose? And how can we bolt on other aspects, other providers to help us innovate in our space? So I've already talked about click and collect on the far left-hand side. Well, we can do that ourselves. That's an internal process. Next day and selected day delivery we do as well. So again, this day of choice thing, and we can do some of that ourselves, or we can outsource that to a third-party provider like City Sprint. I've just talked about what we do with on the dot. So again, using existing processes, bolt on the dot to help us. And actually, we're starting to extend that thinking now with big and bulky. So are there, for our big and bulky deliveries, the stuff that require mechanical offloading, the big cranes, using the good people at Wincanton to help us deliver that in a better way than we've done before as well. So it's a shift in mentality inside the business from what do I have to invent myself, what do I have to go and spend large capital outlay on and invent myself to be right for customers, to how do I look around the business, see what we've already got going for us, bolt on levels of expertise, and then really drive hard to deliver a customer benefit.